at least to start it. Okay. Okay, at the bottom of your screen, Shelley, do you see like 3 dots?
More. And that
Yeah,
live
click on
YouTube?
that.
Uh-huh.
Click that.
Got it. Done.
Okay, let me go to
Yeah.
YouTube and see if it's.
Should I make you the host, Marcy?
I'm thinking you may not have to.
Because what I'm seeing now is to choose for me to choose an account.
Okay, you want a .shalom recon?
This is on the more button.
A lot.
Yeah,
One word, Marcy. Adat Shalom Recon.
A recon sin
Okay.
at gmail.com.
At what.com? I'm sorry.
Gmail.
Oh, Gmail. Jeez.
If I'm co-host, should I be seeing the same thing or not?
No, only
Okay.
one person can do it at a time.
Okay. I need the password, Marcy.
Okay, it is a .5680 exclamation point with a capital A at the beginning.
Adat 5680.
I'm sorry, 5780
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
exclamation point.
Says this device isn't recognized. Oh God, for your security,
Okay.
Google wants to make sure it's really you. They
That's
want to
okay.
call.
So is it gonna send a,
It's gonna send, do you want me to call the phone number on file?
no,
No,
have it email it.
to,
Um,
because it's gonna
gonna
be,
email it to a .shalom sin. I'm in that account.
okay. It says confirm the recovery email you added to your account, and it's Rena's address.
Ah,
Try another way, hold on. No. Maybe I should make you the host.
yeah, let's try it that way.
All right,
Shoot, I was hoping we wouldn't have to do that because it'd be a lot easier for one person to
yeah,
do it.
where are you? There you are. Did I make you the host? No, I didn't. I made Rachel the host. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Jesus. That's where I'm not able to more. Oh, that's because I'm no longer the host. Crap. Rachel's gonna have to make you the host.
Rachel?
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay. See, this is why we get on early.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you make Marcy the host, Rachel?
yes, yes,
Thank you.
or I guess I can, let's see. Marcy. Make host, make not co-host,
Make host.
okay.
And-
Okay.
And Marcy, can you make me a co-host just so that
Carol is still a co-host.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And I think Adat Shalom needs to be a co-host too, just.
Yeah.
Yay. It says it's being live streamed.
It's setting up. Yeah, I think that the issue is that I had already done all of the like authorization credentials on my computer.
Okay,
Okay, I'm actually gonna close YouTube.
in the recording, can I pause, or can you pause the recording? Or
No, no, we're not yet. I'm testing.
Okay.
It's okay. That was supposed to happen.
I'm sorry. I was off screen. What was supposed to happen?
Oh, if you heard an echo of what we had just been saying, that was because I was watching it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we are live now. Let me go back to YouTube. So I'll make sure it's still showing up live. Yeah. Okay. Let me try giving up being host and I'll give it back to Shelley. And let's
Okay.
see if it's still working.
Okay.
This is done for every service now, right?
No,
Just for the B'nai Mitzvot.
this particular one.
Okay.
We're kind of going week by week is
Okay.
because of the Omicron.
Right.
Okay, I'm the host. How the heck do I give up host?
If you put the thing on my name in the
Yeah.
participant list under more.
Oh, there it is. Okay, you should be host now. Let me go back to YouTube and make sure that it's still recording.
Got it.
Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're set to go.
Okay.
It is still recording, so I don't know if you should pause it. I mean, everything's working correctly right now.
Okay.
There's only supposed to be, I think, like 15 people who are coming on YouTube, but it's all the Clopper family that wasn't
Okay.
able, like literally over the past week, like half their people backed out.
Understood. Okay. One question.
Oh.
When we stop, Kathy. Okay. When we stop recording, like when we do the breakouts, we'll stop the recording, and that's okay. I mean, the people on YouTube will understand that it will end.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. It would be nice that if at the end of services, if you can go that ... and see if there's a thing to stop it to stop the broadcast to YouTube.
Okay.
Actually, you might look now and see if it switches
Yes.
to.
Yes,
Okay,
there's
click on that.
So I stop I will do it at the appropriate time.
Right. You'll stop that, and then I'll go in after everything's over with, like around noon, and just close everything out and get the recording and edit it so that like this part of it won't be on it.
Oh, good. Because I've seen too many of our YouTubes where unfortunately there's some preliminary stuff that we'd prefer not to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, just remember when you do Zoom, you're being broadcasted.
Right.
Okay. I am going to get out of Zoom now. Do you have my phone number?
Why don't you give it to me?
Okay.
In case we need to text you or call you.
Okay, it's 202
Mm-hmm.
413 1071.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm going to leave the Zoom now, and then I'm going to go and look at YouTube and make sure that it's still running, that it's not coming through my account. If it is, then I'll be back on.
okay.
Okay, thank you both so very much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm writing a note to the
Waiting room.
waiting
them-
room,
Great.
because there are people there. So writing a note to them that we'll let them in when all is ready.
Yeah, I would just say we'll
Thank
be
you for your
opening our
patience.
virtual doors shortly.
I should say we're waiting for the pre-service preparations. Too
No,
much?
I would say we'll be opening our virtual doors shortly. The service begins at 9:30.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience or something like that. It just occurred to me that there may be
Uh-oh.
some folks.
I wrote before, what I wrote before, instead of deleting it, I sent it. Oh, well.
It's all right. There may be some folks already
I
who
know.
joined us on YouTube. So welcome if you're on YouTube. We're still doing some preliminary work, not work, but we're service begins at 9:30, and we will be allowing folks in to join us on Zoom in anticipation of that in a few minutes. If you're already here with us on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Bear with us as we go through the motions in the beginning. Carol, let's see.
Yes.
I've got, okay, so I have the items to put into the chat. And you've got the page, you're going to be doing the page numbers.
Page numbers.
I'll be
think-
right back.
Okay, so I think we're all set.
When I put the link worked on my computer to get into the service. It did not work on my iPhone, but obviously some people are getting in. When I did it on my iPhone, it said the address was not correct.
Did you do the email to the listserv?
Yeah, I did.
Um,
And it worked from my computer, the link, but not from my phone.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, I see your email on my phone, yeah. I'm going to try it on my phone right now just to see if I can
Okay.
do it.
I tried it again and it still didn't work.
Yep, I'm in.
Okay. Okay, just a fluke with my phone.
Turn this off.
So again, we still don't enable the waiting room. We just let people in, right? Because we don't want the waiting room.
We can disable the waiting room after. What I'm going to do is I have,
Rachel, are you here?
who is that?
Hi.
I can't see you. Who is that?
Oh, is this still that problem?
Is that
Hello?
Fred?
Do you see me?
No,
No, we don't.
we only
Do you
see
see
the
me? No.
screen cover, but we are on YouTube already. There you are. We see you now, Fred.
Do you see me?
Yes,
Yes, now we
Do you
see
hear
you.
me?
we
Yes.
hear you. Do you
Was
not hear
Rachel
us?
here already?
Yes. Rachel was here.
Okay, yeah.
We're
Okay,
already,
yay,
Fred,
thank you.
we're-
We have this problem since the
Fred,
Shemitah thing.
can you hear,
That
can you
I
hear
can't
me?
hear you.
Oh, boy.
So if there's updates that you need to send, we need a separate line,
Rachel
like
heard us
the-
early. Oh, gosh.
like cell phone.
Or
Uh,
chat.
Can you
yeah.
hear us? Can you see? Oh, boy.
Okay,
Rachel first couldn't hear us, but then she did something and she could hear us. But I'm talking to nobody who can hear us except you, Carol. I give up.
hey, hey. So thank you. I was trying to call you. Did Rena explain that there was a snafu? She apologized profusely. There was no custodial person here.
Well, I learned that when I got here. this morning.
Exactly. And then I pulled up and realized my key had fallen off my ring.
Oh,
And so I was out there with them, knocking. I called. I tried John Grossman. I
Oh my
tried
God.
Jody
I was in
Lipson.
here, because you see the
Yeah.
back door is broken.
Oh, how about that? All right, let's see what I can do about that.
I don't think you can do anything
Meanwhile,
about
huh?
it. I don't think you can do anything about it. I think we have to not, please don't. It's
Yeah,
not- it's
well,
not
Thank
fair.
you.
Right.
Fred and
The left
Rachel,
side is fine, and I put the scroll that we're using on the left side,
Okay.
and the right side
Okay.
is not open.
I think I had practiced with her with the one on the right, but it's more recently.
okay, thank you.
It was, the Bina scroll was on the right. I took it out. I
Thank
put
you.
a sticky on it. so
Marcy?
So
Okay.
it's 9:30.
Hi.
so we can
I don't
maybe
believe they
send
can
the
hear us on
scroll.
from the Bima. Rachel, can you hear us? And
Welcome. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
okay, I gotta go. Never mind.
So we are beginning, right? Admit all.
Yes.
Okay. Shabbat shalom, everyone on Zoom. Welcome. Can you hear me okay? Good. I can see all of you, and we're just gathering here with the extended Clopper family as we get ready to begin in just a moment. Shabbat shalom. Be ready in just a moment.
We're on. We're live.
Oh, I see what's happening. So Shabbat shalom, everyone, once again. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay. So what's happening is that because we here at the synagogue are co-hosts, every time you, I think, every time you Gabbais mute people coming in, you mute us as well. So I'm concerned about that because I won't be able to watch this and know so we need to be able to stay unmuted.
Right.
So please don't mute all, okay? If you need to mute someone, mute that person, but please don't mute all because then you'll shut us down and then people won't be able to hear us.
And on chat, feel free to remind people to stay muted as well to minimize the need. Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, we'd love to begin. We need to have our.
My father has a walker.
Got it. Okay. So shall we hold on for just a moment? Is he? Not at all. No, it's fine. Are we on? Yeah.
We're on. We're live.
We have a community of people and we have a wonderful family here. You can come take a look. Yeah.
Hey everyone, we're so happy that you're here for Miriam's bat mitzvah. We'll try to do our best to put on a good show.
Great. A Matovu Nigun medley in the moments before folks arrive and we begin. Ya bye bye, ya bye 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 bye, ya bye 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 bye, ya bye bye bye, ya bye bye, ya bye bye, ya bye bye bye, ya bye 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 bye.
Welcome. It's time for us to begin. We are so grateful to be able to be here together in person with the extended Clopper family and with all of you who are with us on Zoom this morning, our Adat Shalom community and our guests and friends. Let's begin now together, page 141 in the Siddur. Join me, please. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkeno Last line, Vani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon, Elohim berov chastecha, Aneni be'emet ishecha. We'll turn to the morning blessings, which begin on page 151 in the Siddur. It's the custom to rise as we're able and to greet this day with friendship, with love towards one another. Page 151. L'shem yichud kudsha brichu shchintei, neni muchan umezuman lekabel alai mitzvat aseh ואהבת לרעך כמוך וזכות זה אפתח פי. Next page. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, המעביר שינה מעיניי ותנומה מעפעפיי. Continuing. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, הנותן לשכל ובינה להבחין בין יום ובין לילה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, רוקה הארץ על המים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, פוקח עברים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, מלביש ערומים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, מתיר אסורים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, זוקף כפופים. 159. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, המכין מצעדי גבר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, שעשה לי כל צורכי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, עוזר ישראל בגבורה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, עוטר ישראל בתפארה. 161. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, שעשני בצלמו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, שעשני בת חורים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, שעשני ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו חי עולמים, הנותן ליעב כוח. We'll continue now from our seats, grateful for the majestic and intimate inner workings of our bodies. And now take a deep breath together, page 165. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. 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 אתה בראת, אתה יצרת, אתה נפחת בי, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, ואתה תהילה עמני לחיי עולם. 167. כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי, מודה אני לפניך, אדוני אלוהי, ואלוהי אבותיי ואימותיי, ריבון כל המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות. ברוך אתה אדוני, אשר בידו נפש כל חי, ורוח כל בשר. Turn ahead now together with page 177. We acknowledge the power of speech and put those words in our mouths to help shape our thoughts and guide our thoughts. Beginning together on page 177. Baruch she'amar ve'haya olam, Baruch hu, Baruch oseh b'reshit, Baruch shemo, Baruch omer ve'oseh, Baruch hu, Baruch kozer u'mekayem, Baruch shemo, Baruch merachim alai, Baruch Hu, Baruch Merachem al Habriot, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Meshalem Sachar Tov Lireach, Baruch Hu, Baruch Ma'avir Afela u'Mevi Ora, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Hailad ve'Kayam Lanetzach, Baruch Hu, Baruch Podeh u'Matzil, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo. 181. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam ha'elav ha'rachaman. The last lines. Yachid chei ha'olamim, melech meshubach u'mefaradei ad shemo hagadol. Baruch Atah Adonai, melech me'olam batishbachot. Let's chant together Psalm 136 in our books on page 201. Lai, 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 ki le'olam chasdo. Lai, 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 ki le'olam chasdo. Lai, 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 ki le'olam chasdo. Lai, 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 ki le'olam chasdo. Odul Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdo. Odul Elohei ha'Elohim, ki le'olam chasdo. Odul Adonai Adonim, ki le'olam chasdo. Le'oseh niflaot gedolot levado, ki le'olam chasdo. Lai, 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 ki le'olam chasdo. Lai, 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 ki le'olam chasdo. Page 203. Shebesh shivleinu zachar lanu, ki le'olam chasdo. V'yifrekenu mitzareinu, ki le'olam chasdo. Noten lechem lechol basar, ki le'olam chasdo. Odul hashamayim, ki le'olam chasdo. Lai, 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 ki le'olam chasdo. Lai, 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 ki le'olam chasdo. We'll turn now to page 231. Find that feeling of like the inner hallelujah. So the songs at the end of this part of our prayers bring us this word over and over again, as if to say, hear it, sing it, feel it, put that word in your mouth so that you can begin to feel it in your consciousness. I'd like to begin with you now at the end of Psalm 150, saying this phrase, Kol HaNeshama Tehalel, page 231. Kol HaNeshama. Every breath we take, every being that breathes is expressing that inner praise for the source of creation. I'd like to begin now here with this phrase. Kol HaNeshama Tehalel Hallelujah. Kol HaNeshama Tehalel Hallelujah. 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 Bekocho. Hallelujah.
Take a deep breath. If you are on Zoom, I invite you to look in gallery view and take in the many minions that are gathered safely, but presently in real time. You may not see our mouths moving, but I assure you this is not a lip sync service. This is the real thing, and a blessing for each of us in our own spaces, and each of us of the handful here in our seats to make it as real as we can, as we call ourselves in many minions to worship on page 247. We rise in body or in spirit. Baruch hu et Adonai Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam yotzer or uborech choshech oseh shalom uboreh et hakol. And we may be seated. Among the many themes of this Shabbat, in addition to freedom and song and the teachings of Dr. King, we are also coming up just after this Shabbat on Tu B'Shvat, the holiday, the New Year of the Trees, the Jewish Earth Day, if you will. So on page 253, with the transliteration on 255, there's a little extra oomph, this pre-Tu B'Shvat Shabbat, when we sing about the glory of nature and the remarkable handiwork of the one, and we recognize our need to get involved in its care and in its wonderment. We join together, 253. El Adon HaKol HaMa'asim Baruch U'Borach V'Tikol Neshama Godlo V'Tuvo Malei Olam Da'at U'Tvuna Sobevim Hodo HaMikael Kayot HaKodesh V'Nedar V'Chavod Al HaMerkava Zechut U'Mishor Lifnei Chiso Chesed Rachamim Lifnei Chevodo Tovim Meorot Shebara Eloheinu Yetzaram B'Da'at B'Bina U'Paskel Koach U'Gvura Natan Bahem Liot Moshlim Bekerev Tevel Meleim Ziv U'Dikim Noga Na'ezivam B'chol Ha'olam Tzemechim V'Tzetam V'Sasim B'Voam Osim Be'ema Retzon Konam Pe'er V'Chavod Notnim Lishmo Tzahal Avarina Lezecher Malchuto Kara L'Shemesh Vayizrachor Ra'av V'Hitkin Surat Halvana Shevach Notnim Lo Kol Tzeva Marom Tiferet Ugdula Srafim Ve'ofanim B'chayot HaKodesh Yai la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 la. Page 268, the third line. For God alone is holy and revered, enactor of almighty deeds, the fashioner of all new things, the seeder of all righteousness, the grower of all saving acts, creator of all healing. Awesome in praises, source of every wonder, who renews each day with our help, with constant good creation's work. as it is said, Leoseorim Gedolim, Ki Leolam Chasdo, Or Chadash Al Zion Ta'ir, Venizkech Lanu Bimhera Leoro, Baruch Ata Adonai, Liotzer HaMe'oro. So Hannah, if you are ready. A Shaker tradition, a hymn that very much crosses cultural and religious borders. How can I keep from singing? When I see the greatness of creation, how can I keep from singing? And here we are at the point transitioning to the appreciation for the path of Torah that Miriam is joining today. So in honor, we have Hannah to lead us, and may we all find that we are unable to keep from singing along.
My life goes on in endless song of lovers' lamentation. I hear the real grow far off hymn that hails a new creation. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? Although the tempest loudly roars, I hear the truth it liveth. Although the darkness round me close, songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm. I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? When friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? When friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing?
Thank you, thank you. Yeshikov. Page 275, we sing about Torah. We sing about the gratitude to be on a particular path, one of many simultaneous paths toward universal truths and consciousness. And when we get to the place of acknowledging that all is one, echad, in the Shema, at the end of this, Miriam will join us for the first of her many opportunities this morning. So come on up, page 275, keep not keeping from singing. V'ha'erinenu b'toratecha, v'davek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yafed levavenu, v'yahava u'lira et shemecha, v'lo nevosh, v'lo nikalem, v'lo nikashel, le'olam va'ed, ki v'shem kodshecha, hagadol v'hanora v'atachnu, nagila v'nismecha, nagila v'nismecha, b'shuatecha. Middle of 275. Ve'havinu l'shalom erba kanfot ha'aretz, ותוליכנו כלמיות לארצנו, כי אל פועל ישועות אתה, וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול, סלע באמת, להודות לך ולייחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Page 277.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levecha v'bechol nafshecha v'bechol meodecha, ve'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ela asher Anochi mitzvarecha hayom ba'orecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dvartam v'shivtecha v'leitecha v'uletecha v'derech v'shoftecha v'lukumecha v'shartam meot al yadecha v'hayu l'tachot b'neinecha u'chtaftam al mezuzot beitecha u'misharecha. A moment to continue on our own. $285, the last 3 lines. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Let's join together now, page 291. This special Shabbat, we are especially inspired by the Freedom Song, because it comes up, as Miriam knows so well, in our Torah reading this morning. And I'd like to share with you a few different repetitions of the prayer that our rabbis put into our Siddur from this Torah reading. So start together, page 291. Tilot l'elyon baruch hu mevorach Moshe Miriam ובני ישראל lecha anu shira בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם la start choking on the water from the Red Sea as I'm singing these. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lo osef eleh. Shira chadasha shibechu geolim לשמחה שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, צור ישראל תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו, אלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. 299 אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים וחסד, מחיי כל חי ורחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך מביט ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, למענתה לחיות כל חי. ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי כל חי. Page 303.
נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו ושמם ותגובן וחלקה זה זה ואמר.
נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום. כתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, מתנשאים לעומת שרפים, ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקום ויופי. ממקומך מכנו, תופיע ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון, מתי תמלוך בציון, מתי תמלוך בציון, מתי תמלוך בציון. בקרוב בימינו לעולם בעת תשכון, תתקדש ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לנצח נצחים. תירא מלכותך, כתב על המור בשירי עוזך. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש. לשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. It's a time now for our own prayers, either those here in the book or our own personal prayers. We'll come together at the end of this time with our prayer for peace. We close the Amidah on page 323. Actually, we close the Amidah in our own hearts, but we follow a formula that's here on page 323, and it's really a formula that's been laid down by our sages from perhaps more than 2,000 years ago. And before we say this closing passage, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be heard, be acceptable by whatever that place is that hears our prayers. Just want to invite us to take a moment and tune in to see what additional prayers of gratitude we might make for ourselves this Shabbat. This follows this discussion in the Talmud where counter to the formal static liturgy we see in front of us, even the sages discussed, maybe there's room here at the end of the Amidah to add our own personal prayers. So just for ourselves for a moment, what might we add? We can just hear that prayer in our own inner ear for today. Before we say, may all of our prayers be heard, adding our own prayers from our heart. We'll turn ahead now to page 381. Actually, 380. If you would join with me in just saying the last English verses of the full Kaddish, which seals our prayers for the morning so that we can then move on to the Torah service. Read with me, please, page 380, the last three stanzas. May the prayer and supplication of the whole house of Israel be acceptable to their Creator in the heavens, and we say Amen.
Amen.
May heaven grant a universal peace and life for us and for all Israel, and we say Amen.
Amen.
May the one who creates harmony above make peace for us and for all Israel and for all who dwell on earth. And we all say Amen. It is a total delight to call forth now Miriam, Keitha, and David, for Miriam's parents to give her blessing and for her to receive her first talit.
reminder with the masks, be as close to the mic when you're speaking as possible.
Every time. Oh, I'm in frame. Miriam. A little closer. Step back. A little closer to her. There you go. There we go. Closer this way. And we're good.
Technicalities.
We got this. Miriam, just before, no, you can't read it. It's the whole purpose. Miriam, before we start, I just want you to know that to honor our family's love of musical theater,
Yeah.
there are song lyrics from our favorite shows hidden throughout this blessing. Want to see if you can spot them. Let's just say it will be a little test of your memory. No? All right, well, I had to set the tone. Seriously though, Miriam, my hope for you is that you see the tremendous joy you create for others every day. Because that spark of joy is so very much needed by so many, especially these days. True, often laughter is spontaneous, but sometimes when joy is needed, those moments of lightness require some effort. Sometimes the weight of the world seems a little too heavy for joy. So I hope going forward that you will be a beacon of light in the world, put a little all right in the world. Okay, that was Beetlejuice musical. But use your beautiful voice and your humor to bring joy. You and I have talked a lot about today's Parsha. A lot. And I think you know that I like to think that biblical Miriam, more than just spontaneously digging her timbrel out of hastily packed belongings, why did you put the hammer on top of the bowls? You know, finding that timbrel. I want to believe that she chose very deliberately and purposefully to sing at the Red Sea. Singing both for the joy of her new freedom, but perhaps more importantly, in full awareness of the challenges that she was about to face. I also like to think she could have danced all night. During the pandemic, Miriam, I saw you find joy regularly as we laughed and sang together through an otherwise difficult year of lockdowns and distance learning. You've been known to make at least one teacher and me very often laugh just by raising one of your eyebrows. Now, I know I'm your mother, so you're not going to believe me, but you have a great ability to lift up others. So please show them your zazz. I don't mean to suggest that you would simply be dancing through life down at the Ozdust. It would be lovely if you could save the world, obviously. You should give it a shot. And you are compassionate and you are thoughtful, but you're not a cockeyed optimist. And when current events throw one frustration after another your way, please don't overlook the daily gift you give to us and to your friends and to the rest of your family of your laughter and good humor. There is deep power and importance in giving joy to others. If we lose that ability to laugh, lose that spark of joy, well, you got trouble, my friends. You just really. So that's my blessing, that you may continue to spread joy in the world, even when despair can be way too easy to find. And that's my new philosophy.
I've been upstaged.
I didn't write the answers down, so it's up to you to know where they came from.
All right, Miriam, as I thought about what I might want to say to you on this day, at this time, in this place, I really wanted to focus my words on something that would make you happy. And when I think of what makes you happy, really two things come to mind. Minecraft and singing. Fair? I love watching the intense joy you get from discovering new ways to create things in Minecraft. And every time you raise your voice in song, I can literally feel the air around you fill with light and cheer. Now, Minecraft seems like a theme I could build upon for your blessing, but singing seems much more in tune with this day. And that's the end of my puns.
Leaning into the pun.
I am a father, I have to do some puns, but that's it. But after all, this Shabbat, when Jewish congregations around the world are chanting the Song of the Sea, is known as Shabbat Shirah, the Sabbath of song. So, for my blessings to you, I looked towards the world of music for inspiration, and I found it in the song Glorious by Stephanie Maybe. Now, I'm not going to sing the song, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. But for those who aren't familiar with the song, I'm going to recite the lyrics. There are times when you might feel aimless and can't see the places where you belong, but you will find that there is a purpose. It's been there within you all along, and when you're near it, you can almost hear it. It's like a symphony. Just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part. Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies in each one of us. Oh, it's glorious. Miriam, may the music within your heart always lift you up in both good times and bad. May you create beautiful harmonies with those around you, and may you contribute your own melody to the grand symphony of the world. I know it will be glorious. Good talk, bring it in, bring it in.
More references.
Of course, I didn't unzip it.
You came prepared.
That's okay, we're gonna mini hurl this.
There we go.
Okay.
That is a legend.
There you go.
Yes, thank you. Put it out right.
That's correct.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechitatech b'tzitzit.
Amen.
Thank you for hitting all the right notes. And although in life you have much more influence, you may now exit stage left. And with our leading lady here, the show must go on. So we are ready to bring the Torah out and momentarily to have Miriam give voice not just to any part of Torah, but to perhaps the single best known and for sure the coolest looking column in the entire sacred text. So we are thrilled to have you join us, along with inviting now Jill and Judy, if you both made it. Yay. We are taking nothing for granted in this moment. Thrilled to have you with us. You would take either side. We are only going to open the left side. That is not a political statement necessarily, but we're a little bit off track on the right. And that is not necessarily a political statement either. Literally, there's a trip, yeah, okay. But the Torah will come out, and it is the inheritance of all of us. Page 383. As we begin, I will start with this and Miriam will join partway through. Ein kamocha ve'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor vador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Aharani, tirach ketzoncha et Zion, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, ki lecha levad batachnu, ruach el ram v'nisa, Adon olamim.
ויהי בנצוע הארון, ויאמר משה,
Kuma Adonai ve'achutzu oivecha ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha imitzion tetzei Torah imitzion tetzei Torah Udvar Adonai mi'Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael Page 393, as Miriam literally takes hold of Torah, she leads us and we respond.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Adonai, Unromema,
Shemo Yachdav. In the Omicron era, we are unfortunately not walking around with Torah, so we may be seated. It is still very much yours and yours. The shortest of introductions today, because we have so many amazing themes and so much great teaching, in particular from Miriam. We are holding the words closely of the liberation story. This is really the climax, the high point of that story. And it is one that we will tell again at Passover. There's a beautiful teaching about the afikomen, when early in the Passover Seder, we break the middle of the three symbolic matzahs and we hide it. And raise your hand if you have ever managed to break a matzah exactly in half. Right. So one side is always a bit bigger than the other, and the question is asked by our sages, because they ask everything, which half, the larger or the smaller? And the answer that's given is the larger half is set aside for later. Because as great as the liberation at the Red Sea was, that was in one time and place for one people. And we are holding out for a greater redemption yet to come, which will cover all of us. That is the resonance of this passage through dark days of slavery on this very land in Maryland and DC and Virginia, and the 100 years of Jim Crow and segregation and the struggles of the 50s, 60s, the civil rights era, which is so at the heart of our American consciousness this weekend. Let it be at the heart of our collective consciousness every day, not just when there's a holiday. The work of full enfranchisement is not yet done. The words of the Red Sea passage are not yet fully applicable to all, and we must continue to be active participants. So in a moment, we're going to sing along at selected intervals as Miriam chants for us this most profound passage that begins at the end of Exodus chapter 14, which is, don't have page numbers in here. It is Exodus chapter 14, verse 26. If you have the old Plout Chumash, you're going to need to fast forward in the middle of her reading. In the newer Plout Chumash, we are picking up on page 437, and in the old edition, page 481. A few verses leading up to the Red Sea, and then we start singing along at intervals. Anytime that God, Yud-He-Vav-He, is mentioned, then the community is all involved, and we burst randomly, seemingly into song, fitting whatever syllables there are to this melody. That is all that is involved. I hope that you all have it, so you can sing along with Miriam. And as we raise our voices at those various points along the way, let each one be a full-throated cry of commitment to the continued enfranchisement of all. And may all end up crossing the Red Sea. Vayazor ve'egen v'yishtia l'chol l'chosim bo v'nomar hakol habu gadol Eloheinu nu chavod laTorah ta'amod. Usually the tutor is doing this as the maftir, but since it's the first one, the ta'amod comes from our remarkable Pam Summers.
Ta'amod, ta'amod, habachura bat hamitzvah, Miriam bat David v'kitha, maftira hizki.
You actually, after you kiss the spot, you close it to say the bracha.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kirvanu le'avodato v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Traditional to rise, if you may.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה נטה את ידך על הים וישובו המים על מצרים אריכו ועל פרשיו ויט משה את ידו על הים וישב הים לפנות בוקר לאיתנו ומצרים נשים לקראתו וינער אדוני את מצרים בתוך הים וישובו המים ויכסו את הרכב ואת הפרשים לכל חיל פרעה הבאים אחריהם בים לא נשאר בהם עד אחד ובני ישראל ברחו למשל בתוך הים והמים להם חומה מימינם ומשמאלם ויושע אדוני ביום חכו את ישראל מיד מצרים וירא ישראל את מצרים מת על שפת הים וירא ישראל את היד התחתונה אשר עשה אדוני במצרים ויראו העם את אדוני ויאמינו באדוני ובמשה עבדו אז ישר משה ובני ישראל את השירה הזאת לאדוני ויאמרו לאמור
Ashira Adonai ki ga'o ga'a sus v'rochvo rama bayam
Oziv zimrat ya vahilim lishua
Zeli ve'anvehu Elohei aviv el-romanenu
Adonai ish milchama Adonai shemo markevot paro v'chelo yara vayam umivchar shalishav tub'u v'yam suf techomot yechasimu yardu b'imsolot kmo aven
Yemincha Adonai nederai b'koach Yemincha Adonai tirat oyev
וברוב גאונך תחרוס חמך תשלח פרעונך יאכלמו כקש וברוח אפיך נערמו מים נצבו כמו נד נוזלים כפו תחומות בלב ים אמר אויב ארדוף אסיג אחלק שלל תמלא אמו נפשי אריק חרבי תורישמו ידי נשבת ברוחך כי שמו ים צוללו כופרת במים אדירים
מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא
נטית ימינך תבלעמו ארץ נחלת נחית וחסדך עמזו גאלת נהלת ועוזך אל נווה קודשך Shamu Amim Yirgazun Kilachaz Yoshvei Kelashet Az Nivchalu Alufei Edom Ele Moav Yochazemo Ra'ad Na'amagu Kol Yoshvei Chena'an Tipol Alehem Emata V'fachad B'dol Zrocha Yidmu Ka'avem
Ad Yavor Adonai Manai Ad Yavor Amzu Kanita
Tiviemo V'tita Emo Baha Nachalatecha Machol Neshivtecha Pa'ota Adonai Mikdash Adonai Konenu Yadecha
Adonai Imloch Leolam Vaed
Kiva Sus Paro Berich Bo Parashav Bayam Umivchar Vayashev Adonai Alehem Et Mechayam Uvnei Yisrael Kachu V'Vashav B'toch Hayam V'tikach Miriam Haniviyah Achot Aharon Et Hatov Biada V'tepsena Kol Hanashim Achareha B'tupim Uvimcholot V'ta'an lahem Miriam
Shir Adonai Ki Ga'o Ga'a Sus Ve'rochlo Rama
It's like running a marathon, but worse. Now I have to remember how this goes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And the Zoom goes wild. Fantastic. Yasher koach. We may be seated. There's no following that. And even so, we skip ahead to Exodus chapter 17, verse 8. 17, verse 8. This is on page 447 in the new edition, or on 506 in the old. 447 or 506. And we are now leading up to the conclusion of this parsha, which feels unrelated. We are already on our way, and we are a people, but we haven't figured basics out. Among them, we haven't yet figured out how to make sure that there are no stragglers at our rear. And so along comes Amalek and attacks our people at their most vulnerable. That is the next reading, the Maftir. And we need to remember, apropos of our theme of the day, to make sure there are no stragglers at our rear in our society. So we are thrilled to call forward. Please join us. The proud grandparents, those who were able to make it, and we want to honor Linda and others in the family who are not able to be here. But for this aliyah, Ya'amod Moshe ben Sher v'Hasi Vefruma bat Reuven vebele la'aliyah sheni. The traditional, it's here? Yes, traditional. Baruch Adonai HaBaruch.
Baruch Adonai HaBaruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBaruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim. V'nasa lanu et Torto. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vayavo Amalek. Vaylahem Am Yisrael Birfidatim. Vayomer Moshe El Yehoshua V'har lanu anashim v'tzei lahem Amalek Mahar Anochi Nitzav Rosh Hagivah Umatei Elohim Biadi Vayas Yehoshua Asher Amar Lo Moshe Lehilahem Amalek Moshe Aharon v'Hur alu Rosh Hagivah Rosh v'Haya Kasher Yira Moshe Yado v'Gavar Yisrael v'Kasher Yaniach Yado v'Gavar Amalek v'Yadi Moshe Kvedim V'yaku even v'yasimu tato v'yashav alecha v'Aharon v'Hur tamhu b'yadav mizeh echad u'mizeh echad v'yihi yadav emunah ad boch hashamesh v'yachalosh Yehoshua et Amalek v'etamo lefi charev.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emes v'chayei olam natan b'zochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Mazel tov. Thank you.
So thrilled to have you with us. Yasher koach.
So we pause in the reading for a moment for the Mishaberach Lecholim, as we invite folks to put in the chat any names of those for whom we wish healing. There are so many in our nation and in our world, and so many in our own community as well. So feel free to begin sharing in the chat, and anyone here who would like to give voice to the name or names of those we lift up for healing, to please do so. And Miriam will lead us as we hold these beloveds in our hearts and send our loving, healing energy toward them.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of and let us say,
Amen. Yasher koach. Thank you to Miriam for reprising her role from the Teen Torah Takeover with Pam just 1 month earlier. For our final Maftir Aliyah, we are thrilled to call back the parents. Ya'amdu David ben Moshe Bafruma, Vakitha Bat Linda William, Hamaftir. And we pick up where the previous reading left off, page 448 or 507 in the older edition. And the last paragraph, chapter 17, verse 14.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirvanu le'avodato, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Always the first note. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe, Kitov zot zikaron b'sefer, basim be'oznei Yehoshua, kimecho emhe et zecher Amalek mitachat hashamayim. Vayiven Moshe mizbeach, vayikra shemo Adonai Nisihi. Vayomer ki yad al kes yah, milchama l'Adonai ba'amalek midor dor. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'ha'e olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. How you say? No sweat. Yasher koach. It's nice even in a small crowd of family when there is a rabbinic cousin. So we are thrilled to invite Carol and Rabbi Jeff Clopper for Hagbah and Glila. So we invite all in spirit or body to rise as we lift and wrap the Torah. Feel free to go close. It's okay. Okay, well, I'll do a little. Okay, we're back to the special column for it's 40 days. Yeah, right. Bezot Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha kehilat Yaakov, Morasha Kehilat Yaakov, Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe. You may be seated. Going to make reference a bit later, Rabbi Rachel will, to the song of Devorah, which connects with the song of Miriam, the traditional Haftarah. There are at least 3 leading female protagonists in this week's Torah and Haftarah lineup. And it is such an auspicious day with that, plus Dr. King, plus Tu B'Shvat, and the energy of the sap rising in the winter trees. Auspicious time to become Bat Mitzvah. We have already heard the song of Miriam. We now get to hear her words as Miriam becomes a teacher in our community with her Devar Torah.
I will start saying it. Oh, it's wait. Shabbat Shalom. This week's parsha tells the story of the Exodus from Egypt, in which the Egyptians chased the Israelites as they are fleeing from the Egyptians, fleeing to escape, sorry. Once all the Israelites safely crossed the sea, God gave Moses the order to crash the Red Sea back into the Israelites, drowning every single one of them. After that whole spectacle, and seeing how God helped them escape, the Israelites all celebrate, praising God with the song of the sea. Yet, right afterwards, when the Israelites feel stranded with no food or water in the wilderness and complain about how they would have rather been slaves, because when they were slaves, at least they ate food, after hearing the complaints, God supplied the Israelites with food. One thing I noticed when reading this parsha was that God was characterized in a lot of different ways. For example, when leading the Israelites out of Egypt, God appears as a pillar of clouds by day and a pillar of fire by night. Later, when the Israelites were singing the song of the sea, they used purely human characteristics to describe God. They praised how strong the blasts of God's nostrils were when the seas parted. They sing about how God's right hand caused the earth to swallow the Egyptians. And they sing about how the Egyptians are still as stone through the terror of God's arm. Sorry. Throughout the parsha, God is being portrayed as a direct actor, a conscious human-like being, as opposed to an idea or a natural force. For example, in the parsha, it states, "The Eternal stiffened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he gave chase to the Israelites." God had direct control over the events in the parsha. No telling Moses to do this, then Moses going to tell Aaron to tell the Israelites to do this. No, God just did something, finally. Like straight up. Looking into Jewish history, there have been a lot of different ways that people have thought about God. For example, the Baal Shem Tov, a famous Jewish mystic, believes that God is the master of all that occurs in the world, and that God is all-powerful and can do absolutely whatever God wants. The Baal Shem Tov wrote that if God so desired, God could annihilate all the worlds in a single moment and recreate them all in a single moment. On the other hand, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, a famous Jewish philosopher in the 20th century, believed in God as more of a presence and concept that provided structure for a moral code like the commandments and all the rules of the Torah. And the founder of Reconstructionism, Mordechai Kaplan, rejected the supernatural idea of God altogether and redefined God as a force of nature rather than a force that created nature. Reconstructionist Judaism seems to permit a very wide variety of definitions of God, which is great because there's no one thing God has to be. There's no, this is God. If you don't believe this, you obviously don't believe in God. No, you can believe in God however you want. But it can also be very confusing. If we define God in so many different ways and almost anything can be God, then does the power of God as an idea lose meaning? I recently read the book The Giver by Lois Lowry for school, and it depicts a dystopian setting where language is required to be specific. For example, you are not allowed to say you are starving if you are merely hungry, because you're not starving, you're just hungry. There were no hyperboles allowed whatsoever. In the book, the concept of love lost its meaning because everyone was so specific in describing things, and love was too generic a term. What does love even mean? I don't know. So where does this all lead us? Well, a lot of Devars end with a conclusion or the speaker's own personal thoughts, but that's not the point I want to leave you with. Over the years and across the globe, there have been many definitions of who or what God might be. However, there's no way of knowing which, if any, of these ideas might be true. So it's important to accept what other people believe and feel, even if it directly opposes your views. If we can carry this idea of acceptance into other areas of society, not even related to a religion. A very broad topic example is personal identity, whether it be your religion, identity, sexuality, anything, just accept other people's identities. And that is the message I would like to spread. Shabbat shalom.
Hello.
I still.
You just face me. I bless you, and then Rabbi Rachel blesses you. And it is so easy to bless you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for your Torah. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your perseverance. And I hope that, as we discussed earlier, that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of mastering something that at first you weren't sure you even had a deep relationship with, or could or would do it, and here you are. And just wait till you hear the chats. And by the way, if you haven't put in your chat, please do so now. It'll be shared with the family after. Back to me, thank you. I want to bless you not to throw away your shot. And I use it advisedly, because you have this incredible opportunity, and you will have more, and you have to be willing to seize them so that the world can appreciate the gifts, the many profound, multi-talented, heart-filled gifts that are in you. The Jewish piece is just one piece of the path that you are affirming today. And when you're a Jew all the way from your first Aliyah to your Met dying day. But we did not coordinate. But it goes deeper than that. This is about being human. This is about connecting with all of humanity, connecting with the power of becoming of age in Jewish community on Martin Luther King weekend, close to the birthday of the trees, in the presence of family and friends and community. May you continue to step up and continue to shine, because the world needs what is within you. And we are so honored to have you with us.
Amen. Okay. I'll add just to Rabbi Fred's words, my hearty amen, and to say what a total joy it was to listen to you chant through this rather long and complex piece of Torah, and wish that you continue from today to find your voice and to let it ring in all the different ways that your life is going to give you opportunities to do so. I want to say a blessing for your parents, for David and Keitha, who with this life cycle celebration have reached a new chapter in your journey as parents. The teenage years have now fully arrived. We wish you only, chizuk, strength and patience and good humor and faith in these two most extraordinary young adults who are in your care. And we are with you as you continue to journey forward. I'll ask all of us now to say the blessing for reaching this moment. As if we could just pause and take a deep breath and just go, wow, this is what's happening today. There's nothing else to be pressured about or wondering about the Torah reading or anything else. You did it. So now you can just say gratitude for reaching now. Please join me, everyone. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Let me say the priestly blessing, 3 lines in which we ask for God to turn to you and bring you peace. Yivarech Adonai v'yishmerech, ken yehi ratzon. Ye'er Adonai panav eleich v'yichunek, ken yehi ratzon. Yisa Adonai panav eleich v'yasem lach shalom. King Yehi Ratzon. Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Kol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Kol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Kol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Kol Yoshvei Mazal Tov, Miriam. We will ask you back here in just a moment. For now, so
We-
I'm going, oh no. I'm
Close
gonna-
close the arc,
I
or
was
you're
gonna-
gonna do-
yeah.
great.
Yeah, before we go to the closing of the ark, or the closing of the door of the ark at least, as Rabbi Fred mentioned, I'd like to just ask for a moment to look with you at the Haftarah text for today, and just to see a few things that it might have to say to us. We call Shabbat morning the time of revelation. And we call it that because of this tradition of taking the Torah out, of, in a sense, reenacting Sinai. And then we look to the middle portion of the Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh, to help us distill, further understand the text of the Torah through the eyes of the prophetic voice, through the words of the prophetic voice. This week, that prophetic message comes to us in the form of a story, as opposed to a didactic teaching. And it's impossible to miss, as Rabbi Fred mentioned, the presence of some very important women in this Haftarah. So if you have your Chumash, I would ask you to turn to page 464 in the, if you're looking at the newer Plout Chumash, or I think it'll be 706 in the older book. Either way, Judges chapter 5. Our ancestors, our rabbis, chose this section of the book of Judges to pair with the Song of the Sea because it's rendered also as a song. We know this as the Song of Devorah. And one of the things that's striking here is the maternal imagery that comes up, almost as like a tonic, as a companion to the rather military imagery that comes up in the Shirah. As Miriam pointed out in your Devar just now, in the Shirah, in the Torah, we hear God depicted as a being of war. It says Ish Milchama, a presence of warlike energy. In the Song of Devorah, we're also watching a conflict unfold between Israelites and one of their historic enemies. But watch what the text does here. I'm looking now at Judges chapter 5, verse 7. Judges 5, verse 7. So this will be on page 465 in your new Chumash, or 706 if you're looking at the older. And I'd like to just chant this verse. Chadlu perazon v'Yisrael chadelu ad shakamti Devorah, shakamti em v'Yisrael. Devorah, the shofetet, the judge, has been summoned into service by the general Barak, by the Israelite general, and is characterized here as Em Yisrael, a mother for all Israel. In her military advising role, she is functioning as someone who can bring that maternal support, perhaps even that maternal love, to the people as they go forth. And then skip ahead with me now to find the introduction of Yael, the character Yael, who comes to bring the Israelites to victory through her most violent and graphic treatment. And now we're on page 466, verse 24, chapter 5, verse 24, or 707 if you're in the older plout. I'm going to chant just here and join me if you like. Tivorach minashim Yael eshet chever hakeni minashim ba'ohel tivorach. And one more verse. Watch what happens now on verse 25. Ma'im sha'al chalav natana b'sefer adirim hikriva chem'ah. It says here in verse 25, as she is hosting the enemy Sisera, he asks for water and she brings him milk. And the suggestion here, in the mind of our rabbis at least, is that that too is a maternal response. In fact, in the Midrash, they say that Yael not only gave Sisera milk, but perhaps even nursed him herself. And of course, that was only right before she picks up the tent peg to drive it through his head. Which as I thought about this, I thought, I don't know how to connect that with maternal love, except to say, I think of the way that sometimes parental love is so fierce, like the way we kiss a baby under their chin and say, you're so delicious, I could eat you up. Hopefully we don't reach for the tent peg. But this now is all driving to the end of this section, towards Sisera's mother. And it's so striking every year when we come to this passage, it's so striking to see how our tradition wants us to connect with the mother of the enemy. Verse 28, so we know, because we've been reading the text, that Sisera has already died through this most dramatic and violent way. But Sisera's mother doesn't know that. Verse 28, Be'ad hachalon nishkefa v'tiabev em Sisra be'ad ha'eshnav madua boshesh rikbo lavo madua echeru pa'amei markevotav. Sisera's mother sitting by the window, wondering, where is my child? What is keeping him? In fact, it even uses the same verb, boshesh. What's delaying him? As we hear in the epic of Moses on the mountain. Moses is delayed on the mountain, causing the children of Israel to be so anxious that they build the golden calf. Here, it's Sisera's mother's anxiety that we hear. And somehow our rabbis read this and sought to lift her up in a most particular way. And many of us are familiar with this tradition, that it's this little passage right here, this moment of Sisera's mother. The verb here is vatiabev. She is like murmuring or whimpering at the window. And it's that sound of her voice that the rabbis say is the inspiration for the call of the shofar. That internal, that motherly cry of concern for her child becomes the inspiration for the clarion call to justice, to awakeness that we hear on the new year. Well, reading all of this, I could not help but wonder to myself about the mothers of the civil rights movement, especially this week as we are turning our focus in particular to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. What kind of mother raises a leader like that? I didn't know the story of Augusta Williams King, so I went to look it up and learned that she not only lost her son Martin, she lost her other son, not to violence, but she survived the death of both of these sons, and then herself was assassinated while playing the organ in church. So we appreciate and remember the strength that she brought to this world in raising her family, in supporting this prophet of our modern time. So in her honor and in memory of the essential prophecy that her son brought to us, I ask us to read now on page 816 in the Siddur. And I'd like to ask us to all say this together. It's a full excerpt of what was perhaps King's most famous speech, which still rings in our ears. Join me, please, page 816. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. I say to you today, my friends, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal. This is our hope. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. Let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village, from every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, Black and white, Jew and Gentile, Protestant and Catholic, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. We want now to take the Sefer Torah and bring it back into the Aron. We want to call forward Michael Berkson and Emily London, Miriam and Hannah's cousins, and ask everyone together to rise. And Hannah and David, I think you're leading this. Page 441.
That's on my page.
Eitz Hayim Lemahazima V'tokeha Meushar V'rahem Daheno V'chol netivoteha Shalom Hashiveinu Adonai.
We may be seated. Stay here. Pam is joining you. Grabbing sheet music. The moment in a service traditionally known as Musaf, the additional, and in more traditional communities, this would be the repetition of the Amidah. For us, it's a musical amplification of some key themes from earlier in the morning. And as Miriam's incredible and full reading reminded us, there's a whole backstory before Michamocha, because first, Brother Moses, with some help from Aaron and Hur and Miriam, had to smite the water. And we're going to put that in past tense, and we want everyone to sing along.
On the piano. Sorry.
We need a pitch pipe.
We need a fresh beat. Yes,
Got a
one
jockey
beat, a B below middle C. And I would like to ask everybody to sing the choruses. I think all of you out in Zoom land have the words, I hope, yes. And please clap along, okay? We need clapping. 1, 2. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Cross our sinful army, that the seas give away. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. God called Moses on the mountain top. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. And stamped his voice into Moses' heart. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away.
Sister, ain't you glad you passed that sinful army? Sister, ain't you glad that the seas give away?
Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Well, if you get there before I do, Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. You may look for me, for I'm coming too. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Sister, ain't you glad you passed that sinful army? Sister, ain't you glad that the seas give away? Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away. Brother Moses smote the water, and the children all passed over. Brother Moses smote the water, and the seas give away.
Thank you. Yeshua. We keep that energy with us as we move toward our concluding prayers. And it's our custom to offer Kaddish before Alinu so that we end on that affirming note. And as we prepare to remember those, the anniversary of whose loss falls this week, as well as a number of recent losses, we remember as Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who passed away just before last Shabbat, taught, freedom is costly. And we know that when we tell the story of Dr. King and the heroes of the civil rights movement, one of whom on the very first of the integrated freedom rides in 1961 was a young, not yet rabbinic student named Seymour. And this absolute giant would go on to become a personal friend of Dr. King, to organize the first mass arrests of rabbis and other clergy in American history, and go on to be a progressive champion in Jewish life. And we are mourning his loss this week as well. Side Dressler, New Jersey, just an incredible teacher. We remember also Lisa Landsman's mother, Rhoda Lee, the Shloshim for whom is coming up shortly. The more recent losses, Anne Tubenkin's father, Jack Crandall, Wilma Wald's sister, Ellen Schiller, Judy Greenwald's mother, Regina, and Kate Whiting's mother, Isabel Duffield Whiting. We also remember Lori Hirsch's mother-in-law, Mike's mother. There will be a Shiva Monday night at 8 p.m. as we remember her as well. And this week, challengingly for so many of us, we remember on just the second yahrzeit for a giant in our own community, Anne Mizanson, Zichrona Livracha. Additional yahrzeits that we are remembering this week: Jamie Banks' grandfather, Abraham, Mark Feldman's grandfather, Paul Weiner, Sharon Bray's grandmother, Sonia, Bert Simpson's father, Leo, Stephen Isaacson's mother, Sylvia, Amy Jaslow's grandmother, Myrtle, Malka Kutnick's father, Louis Taub, Ignacio Donoso's late brother, H. David Rubio, Len Serrata's grandfather, Abraham Adelson, David Michael's father, Philip, Judy Gelman's son, Norm Gelman's grandson, Jacob Doron Gelman Salop, Ann Burke's mother, Esther Climo, Jim Lobson's grandmother, Ruth Slater, Susan Stein's father, Donald Hugh, Doug Fishman's father, Louis, Lisa Max's sister, Julie Polsky, Audrey Rothstein's mother, Betty, Judy Ehrenstein's father, Sid Fink, Stu Simon's father, Harold, Harry Holzer's father, Simon, Steve Shapiro's father, Leonard, Lauren Gross's father, Herman, Beth Sperber-Ritchie's grandfather, Jacob Sperber, Tina Adler's father, Hans, Quentin Fisher's father, Barney, Sherry Lincoln's mother, Helene, and Anne Spielberg's mother, Gisela. If there are additional people we are remembering at this time, feel free to add their names to the chat as well. And Linda acknowledging within this family, it's hard to pull up the chat and it went away, but you can say. I'm sorry? William K. McDonald, thank you. And so many others, inviting us to rise in body or in spirit, those who are in mourning or whose custom it may be. Page 451, Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman karev v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Lalmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu le'ela minko birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramah, huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshei tevel, v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha, all of their memories, for a blessing. And we may remain standing, all joining in spirit or in body on page 445. The work upon us to praise and to help in the repair of this world under divine rule. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, latet gidula le'yotzer breshit, shenatan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tokeinu. Vanachnu korim umishachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei halachim hakadosh baruch hu. Shemona tishamayim v'yoser zemashu v'yakabeshon v'yishkenu v'yamalokeinu asodam $4.49 on the bottom. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo You may be seated. Usually we have a board greeter at the peak of Omicron with mind-boggling numbers of infections, such that even if the impact on any one of us vaccinated and boosted might be apparently relatively minimal, the chance of overwhelming the system is great. And so it is appropriate that we proceed with caution in these unique days of this pandemic. And so we have minimized the number of people in person, which I think means we are presenting the gift and the, yeah, so it's still up here. I think it's back there. Yeah. So on behalf of the board of directors, in a moment, we are going to offer congregational gift and perhaps most importantly, name tag, the conferral of full involvement and identity for all that lies ahead. And we are thrilled. We're going to hand this to you in a moment when we offer, when we bring you up for the Kiddush. In terms of announcements, there's so much going on, and next week will be entirely online, and stay tuned for the plans thereafter. Next Shabbat will be Biachad with all ages together, and Beth Sperber-Ritchie leading parts, and myself, and Pam and Rosie Epsteiner our educator and our kids as well involved. So we will see many of you back on these boxes next week. Tu B'Shvat is coming up, and Monday night we are helping to co-sponsor. We have at 7 p.m. the Interfaith Power and Light and Jewish Earth Alliance Tu B'Shvat Seder, which our people will be involved in, and then again at 8 o'clock the Shiva in Lori, Persh, and Mike's family. And since Rabbi Rachel is standing here.
Yeah, I just wanted to just jump in for a second. And I am hopefully leaving on a jet plane tomorrow. So I just want to say a loving farewell to all of you and all of you. And I will certainly be in touch from Israel, and wish you all only good things in the coming months. To please stay well, take care of each other, take care of this wonderful community, and be on the lookout for some things. I already have some good things cooking for us from where we'll be for the next few months. So, Lehitraot.
And in that spirit, on the tarmac, clearly Rachel and Jonathan will be offering a traditional Tfilat HaDerech in the first person. We wanted to send you off in a communal way. This is the Debbie Friedman that is we, but the first each time will be you, even as the spirit is meant for all of us. So please join along when we say, may this be our blessing, amen, amen, etc. May you be blessed as you go on your way. May you and we be guided in peace. May we all be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. There's more. May you be sheltered by the wings of peace and fly on them. May you and we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every heart. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing.
Thank you. I feel safe now going.
Kenny Retzo, one more time. Miriam, one last time. So, first. Dun, da, da, dun, 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 Right, okay, all right. So pantomime kiddush, and those of you in our Zoom community, hopefully someone can hold up, and maybe Shelley or Carol, with huge appreciation to our Zoom gabayim behind the scenes, keeping this running. Thank you, thank you. Maybe you'll spotlight someone who has kiddush as well. On page 465, we rise one last time.
B'nai Yisrael et Shabbat
Al ken barach Adonai et yom hashabbat vayikadshehu savrei chavarai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen. L'chaim, and if anyone has bread or challah or something, feel free to make motzi. In a moment, I believe on Zoom, you will be able to go into small breakout rooms as if you were at shul and sitting at a random oneg table for a few minutes. Make sure everyone gets a chance to talk. We are thrilled to have so many of you with us out there, as well as those in here. And this is such a lovely day. May it be a Sabbath of peace. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Nisiya tova, mazel tov. And good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
It's over.
Miriam, I'm giving you a humongoid hug. That was fun. I'm so actually all. Yeah, I'm just giving to you too. I